One day, there was a home. Home was not an idea or a concept. It was a family. It was a routine. It was familiar past, shared meals, voices are recognized, and the deep sense of belonging that makes a child believe life will always remain the same. The next day, there was none of that. There was a movement without direction, fear without words, a loss without grief. Everything happened too fast. What could not be carried was left behind, and what could not be explained was buried in silence. Chapter 1, Theology from Below. Listen, Remember, Restore by Emmanuel Sore. Hi, and welcome to Voice for the Voiceless movement. My name is Emmanuel Sore. I want to welcome you to this brief message. My message is simple. It's about displacement. It's about refugees. It's about those whose voices have been forgotten. You probably know some people who are in the refugee camp. And if you don't, I know some that are in the refugee camp. Since 1996, Congolese refugees have been in the refugee camp for 30 plus years. And who gets to determine this kind of stay? I want to introduce you to the series about refugees as a topic. It's about how displacement reveals the moral failures of the law, of theology, and of governance. Well, I want to introduce you to this series as an extension of Theology from Below. And I want to also name the problem within policies, within the theology, and often aid which does not begin too far from the lives that it governs. Will provide a historical context, a historical grounding, where communities across the lines, communities in Rwanda, communities in Eastern Congo, communities in Burundi, communities in Western Uganda, communities in Kenya and Tanzania, all kind of are interconnected. But I will draw very close attention to the communities that come from Eastern Congo and Western Uganda and Western Rwanda and Western Burundi, where we have communities within the Northern Kivu and Southern Kivu of Congo, whose families, clans, languages, and burial grounds predate borders. These communities existed as one person. When people share blood, when people share language, and when people share graves, and are told that they belong on a different line, that they belong in a different country, that they belong on a different side of the line, exile is manufactured in that way. Exile was not discovered. Exile was manufactured. And who gets to decide where belonging begins and ends? And whose people pay this price? Dear friends, I welcome you to Voice for the Voiceless movement, where we will be discussing on a series of topics, including displacement, how displacement reveals the moral failures of theology, of law, and governance. A lot will be shared with you. But at the moment, I just want to give you a brief idea of what this channel is really about. I shower you with God's blessings through Christ. Have a wonderful day.